Hope everybody is well. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate your time is very short at the moment. If it's anything like mine, I know your time is precious. So I want to just say thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the webinar. We will just wait a couple of minutes if that's all right. There's a couple of other people who hopefully will be joining. So we'll start in a minute. While we wait, let me just check, see whether we've got the comments box open. I think we have. Let's have a little looky. We have. So the comments box should be open. So while we are waiting for people to come join, just take a couple of minutes, just let me know where you are, where you're from, what you're hoping to get from the session, why you're here, any thoughts that you want to sort of share, any challenges that you're facing at the moment that we might be able to sort of cover off while we're in the webinar. Very happy for you to just drop that in the comments box if anybody wants to say anything. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so just yeah, we'll wait a couple of minutes. If you want, like I said, if you want to tell me where you're from, what you're doing, that would be great. I'm actually having coffee as usual. Most of you who know that are on my webinars know that I come with coffee to a webinar. This morning's coffee is what is this morning's coffee? Miles breakfast coffee we had this morning. So not sure if you can see that, but yeah, that's the coffee of the morning this morning. It's very nice, can highly recommend it. And no, I'm not sponsored by Miles Coffee, so not yet anyway. Somebody else has tried it. It is good, isn't it? It's really nice coffee. It's very smooth coffee. It's nice. It's not too harsh first thing in the morning. It's very nice. Hello, welcome. Okay, so as I was saying, time I know is really precious for you. So I think let's get going, and we will keep everybody updated. Just out of interest, we will make this webinar, we'll make a recording of the webinar available to you sort of after the session. So if you do miss bits or you do cut out, then just let us know and we'll make sure that you get a recorded copy. Which, yeah, hopefully will go okay. You know, me and technology, Karen and technology is never brilliant. So, okay, let me share my screen with you so that we can get started. Okay, that's good because my face is now off the screen. We've got a little me. Okay. Alrighty, so hopefully everybody can see that. Everybody okay? Can you see the screen? If you can, just give me a thumbs up. Is the volume okay? Are we good with the volume? Yeah? Cool. Okay, alrighty. Right, let's get started on this little webinar and this little journey. So yeah, what we wanted to sort of just talk about is we are hearing a lot about engaging and motivating teams. I don't think it's anything new. I think this happens quite a lot. I know COVID is making it worse, but I think we always have had an issue in terms of engaging and motivating teams, particularly now, for obvious reasons. But I don't think it's actually been any real sort of difference. Because I think sort of, life just gets in the way sometimes. So I think it's a constant problem in terms of engaging and motivating teams. So yeah, what we wanted to sort of talk about is engaging and motivating their teams, but particularly now in terms of change and uncertainty. So let's start with a little bit of a quick background. Some of you do already work with us and know what it is that we do, but for those of you who don't, those of you who are new, hello and welcome. So Rowan Consulting is an HR and organisational design specialist, and we cover a number of subjects which aim to inform and equip business owners with helpful advice around structuring their business, managing their teams, or developing their team leaders, and managing their people through our HR services. So that's a little bit about sort of Rowan Consulting and what it is that we do. We work with sort of a lot of business in terms of structure for change or growth, And obviously sort of developing leaders is key to that, in terms of, you know, allowing the business owners to do what they need to do, but getting the teams behind them to be able to support them in managing their teams. So that's a lot of work around what Rowan Consulting do. And in a nutshell, in a little tiny package, that's what we do: structure businesses, develop leaders, and manage teams through our HR services. So welcome to those of you who are new and haven't worked with us. You'll know that my style in terms of webinars is probably a little bit fast. I do talk quite quickly. Feel free to tell me to slow down. Feel free to ask questions as we go through. It is quite, hopefully, sort of interactive. But yeah, we'll probably be here for about sort of like 30 minutes, I would anticipate. But feel free, contact me afterwards if you have any questions, if you don't want to, you know, if you don't want to sort of say it while we're on the webinar. So let's get going. Okay, so let's move this out because I'm not sure whether you can see my face on the screen. Let's go sideways. So we all know, in terms of why we're here, you know, what we, you know, where we are in terms of the situation that we find ourselves in everywhere at the moment. And we know that the lockdown restrictions are not going to go away. We know that they're going to come in different forms, and we know that this, a one size fits all now, is not going to, you know, is not going to help us. The main thing we want to touch on here, COVID aside, what we do know is we know the energy levels of business owners and teams are continuing to drop. And how do we know that? We know that because we have the recent Gallup poll indicated that engagement levels for employees at the moment, after an all-time high, is now in a huge slump. And what goes with that is, obviously, if we've got teams which are disengaged, then and business owners who are trying to, as it says in red, maintain the balance of running the business whilst continuing to motivate and engage teams, is really, really tough, because the focus from a business owner like ourselves is the fact that we need to maintain the balance of running the business, but also being mindful of how we engage potentially a high proportion of disengaged individuals at this present moment in time. And what we hear is that there is some frustration there. There's a little bit of sort of conflict which is forming. So what we're going to hopefully do is to try and take some of that away, and keep everything sort of on track with one of the models that we use in terms of from when we coach and support managers. So like we said, employee engagement, having hit a historic high, is now a huge slump. So in this webinar, what we want to touch on with you is to revisit sort of the Leadership Playbook. The Leadership Playbook is about when things break down, why things go wrong, why do they go wrong? And our Leadership Playbook is designed to support you in understanding which part of those 5 key elements, and we'll show you these 5 key elements a little bit later on, which one of those 5 key elements is currently breaking down, and how do we rebuild one or two of those key elements to get it back running properly. So you might feel that it's a big challenge. You might feel that we're having to engage teams, run the business, offer clarity, check the internal processes, build the relationships, There's a whole heap of things. But what we're going to show you is we're going to show you when things break down, why they break down. And also we're going to give you at the end of it, so if you stick with us to the end of the webinar, we're going to give you a Leadership Playbook sheet, which will say, look at these areas, check these areas. And if you check them and you see that one of them is dropping, ask these questions, go back and ask these questions, reset the parameters, and let's go again. So that's what we're gonna do. So hopefully, is there anything else that anybody wants us to cover off at this time? Anything that people want to pick up? Please feel free, put your notes in the comments box. I'm more than happy to freestyle a few things as we go through. No, everybody okay? Oh, cool. Okay, so let me just quickly run back and just tell you, why I'm the one that's telling you this, if that makes sense. So again, for those of you who work with us, you'll know that my background, previous to owning Rowan Consulting, which I've owned for about 10 years, I actually worked in the corporate environment. Not huge, but worked for an outsourced agency. So I worked for a large organization, a large-ish organization, but from an outsourced perspective. So we worked with a number of pretty big clients and big names. And what we were, you know, the previous life was taking on big projects that required us to gather teams together quickly, set direction, build those teams, achieve those results, and drive that next phase of the project forward. So we would be given, for example, the start of, we were actually at the start of the Sainsbury's order line process. So we basically had an empty building, and myself and a team of 3 others were responsible for recruiting the team, setting the direction, getting everybody on board at very, very short lead times invariably. And we had to give them the direction to be able to get them focused and get them achieving the results that we needed to get to. So I'm used to dealing with teams which need to be grown or changed or developed or adapted to be able to manage the change within the workforce. And the reason why I tell you that is because I'm hoping that what we have done and all the work that we have put into our leadership playbook and our leadership program is to save you time, is to save you the time of having to do the research, go on the courses. You know, we've made the mistakes, we've done that. We know what things work. We know how to galvanize teams quickly. We know how to motivate individuals. We know how to get our managers set up. And being a business owner, I know I can then balance that against the challenges that you guys face. So the reason why I'm telling you this is to say, we have been there, we've made the mistakes, we've done it, we can help you. We understand you and we can help you, and to be able to sort of share those experiences and to show you how we do things will hopefully sort of save you time. So I just really wanted to run back over that and just give you a little bit of an update as to, you know, why you should listen to me, because sometimes people go, why should I listen to you, Karen? So that's why I'm saying, maybe if you wanted to, this is why you should listen to our webinar. Okay, so first things that we always start with is to identify where you and your teams are at the moment, okay? And there are 3 areas that in a change or growth situation, you'll find yourself in one of 3 of these areas, okay? So I'm going to talk you through the 3 areas, and I'm going to give you an action to take as a result of each one of those areas. So we're going to talk about each area. You're going to then identify where you and your team sit within that at the moment. And then what we're going to do is you're then going to have a look and see what you need to take in terms of action. Is that okay? Good. Good. Okay. All right. So when we're in a situation like we have found ourselves in for the last 6 months, there are 3 areas that companies will fall into or teams will fall into. The first of those is a react situation. And to give you the definition of a react situation, it is the old war mentality. It's what we have been saying, that the reasons that the engagement was higher and the reason that employees were doing were doing so well in the beginning, or perceived to be doing so well in the beginning. So the first stage that we get to in terms of a business cycle is the react situation. This is the war mentality situation. This is where we see employees and businesses with that huge behavioral shift of sleeves up, head down, do what needs to be done. So I'm pretty sure all of you have seen this. At the very beginning of this, in April and May, we were seeing some incredible stories and had some clients with some incredible stories where the mentality of the teams and the business was very much around sleeves up, head down, do what needs to be done. When we were told to shut down as a country, the resolve the individual showed at that point was that war mentality. So there is very much a react to the situation, react to what I'm facing, do what I need to do. So employees supported it, they understood it. There was to be honest, there was probably some form of excitement behind it, but the reacting to that situation pushed the next phase of that and allowed us to do what we needed to do in terms of the working from home and the shutdowns and etc. In this situation or in this phase, what you tend to find is that employees are adapting quickly. Those of you who work with us and know the PI tool that we use, PI is predictive index, and is a tool which allows us to be able to see where individuals' natural motivators and drivers are, and then allows us to see also what adaptations they are making to their, in relation to their environment or the context that their life is in. And so we know and we understand when employees are making sort of those adaptations, and they're going sort of outside of their comfort zone. Now, the thing to remember is react situation will take some people out of their natural comfort zone, and will put them into a non-sustainable environment. Okay, so what will happen is this is great, I love it, I can do it, this is very exciting, yes, let's do it. Then what happens is that they get tired, they then get fatigued, and that's when we start to see sort of a change in behavior. So the react will start with a very positive outlook. You will see positive signs, you will see positive progress, you will see if some of the efficiencies that we saw right at the very beginning. So people are reacting, but the question here is it sustainable for your employees? Okay, so if you're in react situation, what you will see that there will be some increased productivity, perhaps. Check the efficiency of that productivity is what I'm saying to you. If you're in the react zone, then you need to check that productivity is still going. So the action that I want you to take here, or the note that I want you to take here, is just take 5 minutes after this webinar. Just take 5 minutes and take some time to look at your team. Okay, and what you are looking for is those employees that are potentially showing signs of tiredness, frustration, fatigue. Those who might be close to hitting the wall when you come out of your natural way in which you, I don't know what's happening with my hair here, but it seems to be falling out. The individuals will sustain that adaptation for a certain period of time. And then what will happen is it will drop off, and we'll see people, like I said, fatigued, we'll see them frustrated, we'll see a change in sort of the behavior, when what you'll find yourself saying is, oh my God, they were so good at the beginning of this, and now I just don't know what's happened. I just don't know why they're not doing what I want them to do. They were doing it so well at the beginning, and now they're not. That is somebody who's under an adaptation. So what I want you to do is, if you are in react, identify you're in react, take some time, look at your employees, find out, go through, look at them, talk to them, find out where they are in terms of that, are they able to sustain it? You will be able to see it. If you go back, you will be able to see it. Okay. Next one. So the next one is the regroup. So we've gone from a react situation where we're all busy doing stuff, and we're all busy, changing and moving into our lounge and setting up our laptops and the early April, May stuff. Then we have a regroup situation. This is when you have, I suspect that most of you will probably be in this regroup situation now. This is where we feel the need to get back together. We feel the need to regroup, and we feel the necessity to regroup. Even those who are the most introverted members of your team need human interaction, as we all do, and you'll start to see those individuals wanting to come back to the workplace, wanting to become more engaged and to do more from a sort of, from a team perspective. And this phase is the opportune moment for engagement, motivation of ourselves and the others, maintaining sort of the culture, connectivity, communication. That's the regroup opportunity when it comes up. So that time when the honeymoon period is over, and we talk about this in one of our blogs on the website, is the honeymoon period of where everybody is in the war mentality situation comes out, and they come into, right, the honeymoon period is over, we need to get back to some form of normality. I feel like I need some form of structure, and I want to return to the workplace, or I want to return, to a normality, a structure of a 9-to-5 day, rather than those that have been working sort of longer hours and trying to adapt with having young children at home, etc., etc. So I suspect most people are in that regroup situation right now. So action, if you're in the regroup group, phase is your role and your responsibility as business owners and leaders is now to set the playbook, is now to set the direction that you need to go in as a business. Okay, so the pressure from this moment in time probably comes off of the React employee situation and onto employers and leaders for you to pick up where you need to get to. And we're going to go through, I'm going to take you through sort of the first three phases of our course in just a minute. So your responsibility in Regroup is you need to step up, you have a part to play in this, you need to regroup the team. We're going to talk to you about how you regroup. Okay. Okay. So the third one, the third area that we tend to find ourselves in, let's just have a quick check, is the rebuild situation, the rebuild group. Okay. So when you are in rebuild, you've realized some of the incidents that have happened from the React situation. So we're starting to see that fatigue. We've identified those who are potentially struggling with that. And we are now looking at where we need to move into a regroup situation. Those who are ready to then come back in again, how we bring them back in, do we bring them back in under which restrictions, etc., etc. So from a rebuild perspective, where your responsibility sits in rebuild is there are two things that you need to have a think about. Okay, number one, you may very well have or have had a great 2, 5, or 10-year plan, business plan. Where we are right now, we can't see any further than about 90 days. The general feel in the market is because of the level of change and adaptability, you can have the best 2, 5, 10-year plan. But as far as foresight goes, you can only really predict 90 days in advance. And as a result of that, you've got to spend some time going back and revisiting and rebuilding what key elements of that 2, 5, or 10-year plan that you really need. Okay, so the action under rebuild is you need to work out on your 2, 5, or 10-year plan, what is it that is generating value for you as a business right now? We know from our clients, we work in a number of different industries, some of which have been hugely hit with the situation we're in. So hospitality and retail being two of the ones that we work with on a regular basis. And we know that anything that they have had in terms of their 2 or 5-year plan has probably been smashed out of the water. But what they can do is they can plan within that sort of 90-day period. So what you need to have a look at is in your role, in your business right now, where is the value being generated? And when you know where that value is being generated, you then have to communicate that back to your employees. So it's almost like we had a 5-year plan, we were going in this direction, and actually what we're going to do is we're just going to put our foot on the brake for a minute while we rebuild. And to put our foot on the brake for a minute, we're going to look shorter term. We're going to have a look and see where we are sort of shorter term. So generate the value. Ask what is adding the value to your clients at the moment. And then take 3 of those performance habits that you need. And that is what you are communicating in the rebuild. So we're taking big picture and we're pushing it back down. We're breaking it, or we're putting the foot on the brake for a moment. And what we're doing is we're looking at what is generating value. When we know what is generating value, what we then do is then take out the 3 performance habits that we need from our teams to deliver that within the next 90 days. And that is what our rebuild plan is. Okay. So we know at the moment from our experiences, we know that employees are coming back into the businesses at the moment. The honeymoon period is over. to a certain extent, they're all coming back in, throwing open the doors, going, hurrah! I've been stuck in my lounge for the last 3 months working on a laptop whilst having children at home and trying to be 15 different things in one day. Please let me go back to the office. Please let me have some structure. And please let me get back to what I know best. So there is a false sense of emotion about wanting to be back within the working environment. And again, that's not sustainable. We know that. So once that honeymoon period is over of, hurrah, I'm back and I have some structure and it's great and we're all back in the office again, we're going to have to deal with a number of different challenges. We're going to have to deal with the possibilities of local lockdowns and them having to go back to work from home again. I say the fear, I mean this very generally, the fear of schools closing and the children coming home again. I love my children. I love my children. I just don't want to homeschool them. So there is the threat of that, or there is the thought of that is coming back again. So that what we have is we have those individuals who are throwing open the doors of the workplace and coming back in again. There is this false emotion that is building up, and as a result of that false emotion, what sits behind that is, but this could happen again. And if it does happen again, what do I need to do? So the general result of that is employees will default back to what they knew before. Now we know that we're not going to go back to what we had before. We know that we're not going back to the normal that was. Okay. We don't know what the future will hold. And if you do, then go and take a lie down somewhere and come out when you come to your senses, because we all know that we don't know what is happening at the moment. So by not knowing, what you have to do is take it in a shorter period of time and go with what is the generating value. So full circle, employees, yay, great, coming back in. Once they come back in, they will revert to their normal where they left off. Your role under rebuild is to take bigger picture, push it back down, put your foot on the brake, decide what is generating the value, take the 3 performance habits that you need, take it to 90 days, communicate 90 days. The focus and the clarity is what you need to be able to give to your individuals right now. Okay? Make sense? Please say if it doesn't. Please feel free to write in the comments. No, everybody okay? Yeah? Yes. So somebody's just asked about the difference between the regroup and the rebuild. So regroup is where they are coming back in with the doors wide open, joyously coming back into the workplace again. That is the regroup time, where it is your optimum time to look at engagement and motivation. So react, we've looked at those individually who are likely to be struggling. Regroup, we're now looking at the opportunity that has presented itself from an engagement and a culture and a reset communication situation. Rebuild, so your rebuild situation is to say, okay, we're not going back to the new normal. Let's all just sit down. Let's be realistic. We're not going back to the new normal. We are going to have to change and we are going to have to adapt. The change and the adaptation is we have the 10-year plan. The 10-year plan is now squashed. We're going to take some products out. We're going to put new products in. We're going to go with, what is generating the value. We're going to focus on the generating the value. This is how we will rebuild. So you are telling them about the rebuild plan. Does that make sense? Yes. So there is clarity. Again, someone's just asked, there is more clarity needed. There is more clarity needed in the rebuild situation. And we're going to show you how to do that. We're going to show you how to do that now. We're going to take the first 3 streams of our course. Okay. Yeah. Trick is keep it simple, keep it focused. Okay. So, okay. Just take a couple of minutes and just, now you've understood all 3 of them, just let me know where you currently are within that cycle. Just, if you don't want to share it, that's fine. But just think about where you are, and where you are might depend upon sort of the industry that you're in. Retail, we know, has been hugely hit and hasn't had opportunity to restart. Construction is restarted, manufacturing is restarted. So you will all be at different points of this. But I'm just interested to know, where are you currently, do you think, in that cycle? Okay. Yep. So we've got a couple of regroups. Yep. A couple of reacts. And a rebuild with a question mark. Is that because you're not sure? Or? Yeah, so all of you are at different sort of stages in terms of react, regroup, and rebuild. You're all sort of at different, and that's what I would expect, because you don't expect to all be in industry wise. You don't all expect to be at the same situation at the same time. And it's fine if you're still in the react situation. You know the action that you need to take. We are reacting, we are adapting. Keep your teams in terms of engagement and motivation. The react phase is the one of keep your eye on your employees. Keep your eye on them, see what they're doing, see what changes they are making, what adaptations they're having to make, and if they are struggling and what their challenges are. So your role in the react is keep an eye on them, look after them, check in with them, acknowledge their challenges, be there for them, because you can't move to a rebuild because you don't know what's going to happen in terms of retail. So it is quite a struggle. So it doesn't matter which phase you're at. Those of you who are in regroup, it looks like most people are in the regroup situation. I think would be fair to say. We've got a couple of rebuilds in there, but most of them seem to be sort of in the regroup. And again, the regroup situation does give you a perfect opportunity now, like I said, to put your foot on the brake and to just reset where you are. Take that opportunity. We did some work a couple of weeks ago on our 3-day challenge, which took a number of individuals who were both business owners and business leaders. And we did a 3-day challenge with them to reset and regroup. And it just gave them the opportunity to think about what they need to focus on. So we just took them out for an hour over 3 days. And then just help them sort of reset and regroup where they were. So yeah, I would expect people to be in the regroup situation at the moment. Those of you who are starting to rebuild, I think, yeah, if you haven't had the opportunity to put your foot on the brake and review your business strategy from where you are and where you're generating the most value, go back and do that piece. Because I think that's the piece that employees need to know right now. If I'm going to be engaged and motivated, I need to know what I'm doing. And if I need to know what I'm doing, I need to know what the business needs me to do. It's that conversation. So regroup, keep going. Rebuild, go back and just check in your regroup situation that you've checked that you are generating value. You know which direction you're going in. Okay, moving on. So this probably is just, we could probably skip through this slide because this is what we've just been talking about. So your role, if you are a business owner or a leader right now, is this: offer clarity. Okay, whichever one, offer clarity. You are sort of the director, as it were, at the moment. You're the one who is putting those people into those places. It's like the director or producer of a show, isn't it? You're putting the people into the places where the business needs them right now, and you're telling them what it is that you want to do. Now, if you don't know what that is, then that's fine. Like I said, anybody who thinks that they know what the future will hold right now, I think, like I said, my advice would be go and take a lie down for a while and come back out when you come to your senses. Anyone who is trying to predict where we are, is not going to be sure. We know that this has put us into a situation where there is a lot of uncertainty and ambiguity. So if you don't know, that's fine. If you don't know, 4 months ago, I didn't know a lot of my business was delivered face to face, in groups and on site at business premises, and we were traveling and da 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 da. I didn't know what my business was going to do 4 months ago. The challenge for me was, oh my God, I have to shift my whole business model. And I have to shift it online, and I have to do that relatively quickly to be able to support clients. So if you don't know right now, that's fine. You just need to get help and talk to the people who will help you make sense of it. Okay. It is not your role as a business owner to have to take all of that responsibility on yourself. We have to, as business leaders, in times when we don't know what the answer is we have to talk, and we have to seek help. Talk talk to your team, get some insights from them. Talk to your senior leadership team, where you are probably all feeling very much the same type of thing. Talk to business coaches like ourselves, who can see it from sort of an outside perspective and can give you help give you some clarity on, or ask you questions to help you think through which are the best options. You're not expected to know the answer. You are the director, but you're not expected to know all the answers. So just wanted to sort of add that in, because I think there is an expectation that we are expected to know the answers. And if we don't know the answers, it's fine. You just have to find out the route that helps you find the answers that you're looking for. Okay, so yeah, your role is to offer clarity. Now, you offer clarity in 3 separate ways. Okay, destination, so where we are going, the direction, so the what, and the route map, how are we going to get there. Okay, those of you again that have worked with us know that our Leading in Business program, the 6-point roadmap that we use, goes through these. So we're going to take you through very quickly. We're going to take you through the first 3 of our 6-point program, and we're going to show you sort of how to do it. Okay, so this is what this is an overview of what you would get if you were on one of our leadership courses. It allows you to just reset and refocus, make sure everybody's on the bus going in the right direction, what we need to do, etc. So if you are asking right now, if you find yourself asking the question, why can't they just, or why won't they just, then you need to be listening to these next 3, okay? Or you need to be on our leadership program. More details to follow. Okay, so let's start with destination then. So the what of the destination is where we are going. Okay, so you remember our strategy bit from earlier, where we said this was our 10-year, or this was our 5-year. This is where we were going. This is what we were doing. We've put our foot on the brake and we've said, okay, where are we? Where are we and where do we need to do? Where are we generating value? Where are we generating value for internally, and where are we generating value externally? And then we have looked at those 3 behaviors that we need, performance behaviors that we need to be able to then push our strategy forward. You may find that parts of that strategy fall away. You may find that you add other bits of that strategy in. For example, 4 months ago, my strategy was very much on site. My strategy now is very much in terms of delivery, is to turn into an online platform. So you're using the word which you pivot, don't you? It's most overused word right now, but we pivot the business that we are in. So strategy, look at where you are, reset it, change it if we need to. Does it fit your business right now? Do you need to change it? Do you need to scale it? Do you need to take bits out? And is it still serving a purpose? Once we get to that point, we bring it back into the 90-day plan, okay? And this is where you need to then check that your internal operations are then aligning to what you need to do from a 90-day plan. So have I got what I need to be able to do to deliver? I need to do X within the next 90 days. To be able to do that, I need Y, and I also need A and B. So that might be, those of you that were on the 3-day challenge, this is the one where you say, I am doing this. In order to do this, I will need the support of this team and this team, or I will need external resources by talking to this person and this company. So that's that 3-day challenge one that we talked about. Once we've done that, communicate it to your team, okay? You might know the destination. The quick way to check this is, if you know your destination, write it down on a piece of paper, go out and pick 3 people from your team and ask them the direct question of, what is our destination? Where are we going? And see whether they can answer you. If they can answer you and it matches something about what you have on that piece of paper, you're doing okay. If they can't answer it, you have to go back and reset. We've done this just recently, and the surprising thing is you think, as a business owner, you think you know where your team is going, or you think they know where you are going. Ask the question. I said, write it down. It's an interesting game to play. Write it down, put it on a piece of paper, go back out, pick 3 of those, ask them the question. If you don't get the direct answer from them, ask 3 more. See whether they are talking the same as you. And if it becomes a, well, It's a sort of, and we're maybe doing a little bit of, and it's about, if you hear the words growth and we're sort of doing this, any sort of, or anything about growth, you know that they're not on the same destination as you. If we're talking growth, you expect your team to be able to say, we need to grow by X percentage at this point. Okay, make sense? Okay, so you set your destination, you've relooked, you communicate it to your team. That's the engagement piece that we are talking about. When you talk to them about where we're going and what destination, A, you're bringing people with you, and B, you are letting them know what their role will be in that. Okay. Then when we've set the 90-day, it's then in a situation of you run it and you review it monthly, which is the retros. And once you've run something for 90 days, go back, run a retro with your team. If you don't know what retros are, email us. We'll tell you all the details of retros. And the massive benefit of having them. You run the retro, you go again, you make the small changes, you go the next 90 days. After 90 days, you run the whole process again. So you're cycling things on a 90-day program. You're taking, again, 10-year plan, 5-year plan, and you're turning that into 90-day actions. People need to know where they're going at the moment. They need to know the direction. Okay. So just to go through strategy, revisit where you need to go. It is likely to be much more fluid now than what it ever has been, okay? And that's fine. And it's okay to communicate that to your teams. It's okay to say to them, yes, this is more fluid. And yes, it might not be as definitive as what it was beforehand, but this is the direction that we're going in. This is the destination we're going to, okay? It's likely to be a lot shorter. We're not going to be talking 5 years hence. We're likely to be talking much more of a shorter time. You need to share and you need to get the involvement on your destination, okay? So this is the one where I said to you, write it down on a piece of paper, go and ask your team, okay? Ask them if they can give you, if it matches what you've got on your paper, brilliant, well done. If it doesn't, fine, break it, reset it, go again. You are not expected to know all the answers, which is what we said earlier. And remember, we're going to show you the Leader's Playbook at the end. So when things break down, we'll show you where to go to look at where it is broken down, and we're also going to show you what types of questions to ask to get it back up again. Okay, destination done. Any questions? Is everybody okay? Am I talking too fast? I know I talk too fast. I know a lot of people say to me, it's very, do I need to slow down? Nope, everybody good. I knew you'd be okay. I knew you'd be all right. Okay, so we've done destination, direction, okay? And people often say to me, well, isn't it the same thing? Isn't that what we do? Destination, direction, same thing. No. So once you set the destination, you need to then set the direction, okay? And this in a minute is going to link back to the 3 performance habits that we had earlier. Now, when I define destination and direction, this is the easiest way that I find to explain it to people, okay? So destination is, think of it as a holiday. So the destination is the country that you will be visiting, okay? And the direction is which region you will be going to, okay? So in terms of direction, don't just tell them, or in terms of destination, sorry, don't just tell them that we're going to Australia, okay? That's I mean, of course, everybody's going to be very excited if you say to them, our destination is Australia. This is where we are going. Tell them where we want them to go. So we're going to go to Australia, or we're going to go, we're going to go to a country. Then you have to decide which region you're going to go to, okay, and why you're going to that region. Now, there may be a number of different reasons. You might want to go because of the sun. You might want to go because it's near the beach. You might want to go because it's in the middle of a forest and you need some, you need some quiet time. The specifics of the bit that you get to. So your destination is your overall, okay? Destination is, we are going to Australia. The direction is, we are going to Australia. We are going to this region because of this reason. And this is why we would like you to come with us, because we're going to do this when we get there. Okay? So that's the easiest way I find it. Hopefully that makes sense. Good. It does make sense. It does make sense. It's very difficult. I think people think destination, you get very confused with destination and direction. Your destination is the wider picture. Your direction is the more specifics. Okay, going to Australia, We're going to go to Australia. We're going to go to this specific region. The reason we're going to this specific region is because it will deliver this and this for us. Heat, beach, you know, whatever, gym, whatever. Okay, so that's the easiest way that I have said, or I found to explain it. Yeah, I think it is one that people get. So somebody's just said it's one that people, you know, people will understand. And that's the thing right now, is keep it, you know, keep it simple. We are offering clarity, and clarity has to be simple. It has to be quick, and it has to be simple. Okay, so destination, direction. Okay, so strategy, destination, what we're going to do, where we're going to go, where we're going to end up. 90-day plan, direction. We're going there because we need to deliver this. And in 90 days, we're going to be doing this. Okay? Make sense? Excellent. Brilliant. For those of you who have got any questions, who want to talk about it afterwards, please, you know the usual contact details. Just get in contact with us at hello@rowanhl.com, and we can talk you through this. I'm just mindful of people's time. Sometimes people want to talk about this in a little bit more detail. I'll give you those resources at the end, so we can have a more of a conversation if you want to. Okay, so roadmap. Okay, so let's use the destination direction one again. So you have picked the country that you're going to, and you have now picked the region in terms of your direction. Okay, this is the how you are going to get there. Okay, so again, we've said to them, we're going to Australia. And we're going to go to the, never been to Australia, so I can't give you an idea, but we're going to Australia and we're going to the Melbourne region, for example. And we are going to get there by getting on a plane at this date, on this time, and flying for this amount of hours and getting to the destination that we need to get to. And when we get there, this is what we will do. So this is the itinerary of where you are going, okay? Or the itinerary of what you're going to do when you're going to get there. So the roadmap is your 90-day plan. Okay, 90-day plan is how we're gonna, you know, how we're gonna get there, what route we're gonna take, and how we're gonna get there. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. So 90 days, review, adjust, go again with the tweaks. Simple. All right. Couple of reminders. If they own it and you have communicated it correctly, they will do it. Okay. If you own it, you'll be the one doing it. So a word of caution. Oops, I've got a chat box open. Okay, so if you are communicating this effectively and they are on board with you and they want to get on the plane and they want to go to New Zealand, no, Australia, excuse me, I want to go to New Zealand, and they want to go to Australia and they want to go to Melbourne with you, and when you get to Melbourne, they want to do the same as you want to do, great. They're on board, they get it, they own it, they'll do it. If you're telling somebody to go to Australia when they want to go to New Zealand, for example, you'll go one direction, they'll go the other. Okay, so if you own it, you'll do it. So my advice is get them to own it, they will do it. Collaborate, talk to them. Okay, excellent. And when things break down, let's have a quick look at when things break down. We're a little bit over time, but I will go through these. Oh, let's not hide that one first. So when things break down, first thing to remember, do not panic. Okay, when things go wrong, there will be 5 basic reasons plus 1 equals people that it will go wrong. Okay, I'm going to show you what those are. So first thing, don't panic. Okay, one thing that will go wrong, the reason why things will break down and go wrong is because your people aren't on board your bus. Okay, one thing to remember with people, in the words of the wonderful Simon Sinek, people don't fear change, people fear sudden change. When you throw it at them at short notice and they don't have time to reflect or digest it, generally people will struggle with that. So they don't fear change, they fear sudden change. And people don't fear revolutions, people fear revolutions, they don't fear evolution. Okay, so people want to evolve. They just don't want to be thrown in at the deep end and told to do it. Okay, so this is the collaborate, communicate piece. Okay. For those of you, again, who've worked with us for a while, know that Simon Sinek is one of our go-to resources, that and Margaret Heffernan. So the other area, and this is what we are going to make available to you after this session. Okay, so this is the Leadership Playbook. When things go wrong within businesses, we have worked with businesses long enough, going back to what I said at the beginning, this is what we did for a living, it's what I did for a living for a fair few number of years. I won't tell you how many, but for a long, long time, this is what we did when we built teams and we got them together to deliver what we needed to deliver from an outsourcing perspective. So this is the pain that I was talking to you about. We've done this because we've been through it and we know what works. When things break down within an organization, they will break down fundamentally for one of these 5 top reasons, okay? Because there is lack of clarity and motivation, because there is a lack of external interfaces and we're not communicating with them correctly. We're not delivering where the added value or the generation of value is coming from. Learning and growth, I'm not getting enough out of this for myself. Therefore, from a learning and growth perspective, I do not feel that I am, I'm coming forward. We're stagnating as a business, we're stagnating and we're not getting any bigger. We're not learning and we're not growing. It will break down from a relationships perspective. People don't leave businesses, well, people do leave businesses, but people will leave for 4 fundamental reasons. If you follow us on social media, you'll see that we've covered this quite a lot over the last couple of days. People will leave because of leader, team, culture, business. 4 reasons people will leave. That's it. There isn't anything else. They will leave for those 4 reasons. So if our relationships are breaking down, that's why they will be breaking down for one of those 4 reasons. Or the internal operations have fallen apart. We're not communicating, we're not pulling together. So we did the Leadership Playbook, which we talk through with clients. When you're on our 6-point program with us or you're on the roadmap program with us, you will get this. This is the level of detail that we go into. So this is just a heads up, but we will go, this is what we fundamentally go into, those 5 points. And we also then help you to build and transform that. So once you've done it once, we take the strongest, we replicate that, and then we move it forward. So this is, you've got access to sort of what our program delivers. So when those things break down within a business and when the wheels fall off and you feel like it's not going right, go to this document, okay? This document will give you the pointers. Now, one of them might go wrong or 3 of them might go wrong. And we don't, but what it will do, you have to face up to the fact that one of them is going wrong. Once you identify which ones are going wrong, you can then put a process in place to be able to change it. Okay. So when they do break down, it's one of these 5 things. This will be available to you after this webinar. If you go to our resources page on our website, you will be able to download the playbook. Okay, if you want to talk about it in more detail, we haven't got time to talk about it today, unfortunately, but we will be able to sort of talk to you about it, and I will tell you who and where to contact. Okay, so this is, thank you very much for staying with us. This is thank you for sort of staying with us. We wanted to just sort of share something with you. So when you have been through those points that we have just discussed with you, so when you have worked out where you are, when you have reset where you are, and when you then know which destination, direction, and route map you are taking, if things break down at that point and the wheels fall off, I guarantee you it will be for one of those reasons. Now, this isn't a linear structure. This isn't a linear process. It's all interconnected. So, one will lead to the other quite naturally. But it does give you an opportunity to just have something which says, okay, this doesn't feel like it's working right now. And it's not working, and what we need to do is we need to put this into place. Okay, but we will give you the details of where to get that information from. So to conclude, consider where you are, review your team, check the adaptations and the challenges, define the new route that you need to take 90 days, offer clarity, tell them what you are going to do, increase the communications within your teams, and keep that to a regular retros or regular monthly meetings, and review it regularly. Okay, 6 points. Resources. Okay, so a heap of resources that we have available. Leaders Playbook will be available. It's the freebie. If you go to www.rowanhr.com/resources, it will be loaded up there later this afternoon. So we'll get that loaded out for you. Our groups, we have Facebook and Instagram, which is Rowan HR. We have our Facebook Leader Hacks group, which is for business owners and leaders who want to just share some sort of knowledge and experience and be sort of in an area with like-minded individuals. And we are also on LinkedIn under Rowan Consulting. If you want to know more about our leadership program, which is our 6-point program that I talked about, and we have talked about the first 3 stages of that program very, very quickly today, then just get in contact with us at hello@rowanhr.com, and we will let you know. Anyone who is interested in PI discussions on the developing the high-performing teams, send me an email, and I will quite happily show you how the system works. It will probably take about sort of 30 minutes to be able to do, which is why I'm not doing it today. And then if you want to subscribe to our newsletters and our Shed Talk series, you are very, very welcome to go subscribe on our website. We would love to be able to share those informations with you. In terms of what's coming up for the remainder of this month, we have a brilliant Shed Talk due next week with Michael Jones from PI, who talks about high-performing teams. I think the title of it is Dream Teams, the Business Owner's Guide to a Football Fantasy League. But he's going to be talking about how you use PI in high-performing teams. So we're very, very much looking forward to that. Very, very grateful that Michael Jones, who is a genius on PI, is coming to join us for one of our Shed Talks. If you subscribe to the newsletters, we will update you with what's going on in terms of our blog. Please come and join us on our social systems. We would very much like to share, things with you and to get your feedback. And finally, that just leaves me with a quick way of saying thank you. I think we nearly made it. I think we nearly made it. It was probably about 45 minutes, but thank you for staying with us. I really do appreciate it. I know your time is very, very important right now, but hopefully there will be something from here that you will be able to take away and you'll be able to use with your team. Okay. Any final questions before we wrap up? No, thank you. Thank you. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you got something from it. I know it was quite a whistle stop webinar, but I'm hoping that you've got something from it. Please, if you want to talk about it in more detail, please do give us a call and let us know. I'll visit our website and subscribe to some of our resources. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. It was it was a pleasure. Hopefully we will get back to seeing you, some of you face to face very, very soon. Because it still feels particularly odd from a person who's been dealing with people for 20 years of her life to do things behind a screen. Still miss that interaction, even as a high B for those of you, or a low B for those of you who know me and know PI very well. It's even for an introvert, it's still that want that engagement. So yes, hopefully that is useful. And I will see you all very, very soon. I will stop sharing my screen. Ooh, big face back on the screen. Okay, thank you guys. I really appreciate your time. Any questions, please do give us a call. All right, and we'll see you soon. Alrighty, take care. Bye.